Okay, so this is Mobility Wednesday, and we're on the pole. Okay, I don't know if you can see my pole. So this could be no more than a broom handle that you put tape on the ends if there's any sharp areas. I'm working on my pad, and the very first thing that we did today to get warmed up, and many of us have been warming up doing these moves. Let me revisit it quickly. So you're on your very non-compliant surface, meaning it's spongy, right? A compliant surface is like cement, okay, or cement, whichever you like. Okay, so I'm just doing a little quadricep lifting. See this? Just to kind of start warming up the biggest muscles in my body. So now I'm on my spongy little platform. I'm going to take this pole, all right, and I'm just going to go like this. See, I just put it down over my back. See that? I'm showing everybody how to get lined up. And then I just push it against my head right there. And then I grab my hand back here and push it down. See, this is how it looks. So I would caution you that if you're doing this and you have an overhead fan above your head like I do, don't hit the dumb thing. Okay, so see, I'm just pushing this in, and where am I supposed to touch? Everybody should be yelling. Back of the head, between the shoulders, and right between the butt cheeks, right there. I should feel it touching right there, and right here. Got it? Okay, then I stepped forward. I rocked and rolled my foot until I got my Achilles, and I got my foot really working. See, this is what is helping to get blood into the plantar fascia by doing this gently. See, I don't have pressure on that foot that I'm rocking back and forth. See that? And so I can push the heel down and get a gentle stretch, and I can line myself up all at the same time, okay? And then I can just switch with my hand, put one hand back and one hand right in here, okay? So back of the head, drop your chin, then step back up on the pad, step down, and rock and roll the other leg. See that? So as you're stepping on the floor, revisit your lining up, the stick. Get on the stick. This is one of the reasons why it says get on the stick, is because you want to get in really good neutral posture, okay? And you see how I'm bending my back knee? Do you see that I'm not moving front to back? Do you see that I'm stationary? And all I'm doing is bending that back knee and pushing it back. See how I'm not rocking? Right, that's a big difference. Whenever that you don't rock and you just get that pumping action from that knee going straight and to a bent position. And then keep tucking your chin, lifting your rib cage, and then step back up. Okay, and then bring it down, and then press right down here to your thighs, and then come back right in here. Now, generally, whenever I have you come back like this in our normal lifting classes, I don't want your elbows being flared, because generally we have a weight in our hands. Well, now we just have a little stick. So we're gonna revisit mobility. Because why? Because this is Mobility Wednesday. Well, duh. That's why. So here's the thing. If I were with you right now, I would take a look at what are you doing with your wrists? Have you locked your knees? And where are your elbows? If it's very difficult for you to keep your elbows in line with your wrist, in line with the pole, if that's very difficult for you and you tend to drop them and do this or do this, see, we've got some movement issues, okay? So take a look and see where you're at. So I'm going to dive deep. See how I'm coming down? And when I'm in this position, what's happening with my knees? Am I going out? Am I going together? See, I want to be in line with my hips. Push that hip back, come down, bring it up. And when you come right here, you're hanging on with your thumb. Look at your elbow. Look at your wrist. See, I don't know. I'm not sure if Marilyn's on today, but I can guarantee you she's already corrected because she's usually doing this. Right? Right, Marilyn? She would see I'm not saying anything I shouldn't because I'm calling you. Don't break your wrists here. Keep them in neutral. Number 1. Elbows are bending. Number 2. See, I see them. See, I can look and see my elbow and see if in fact they're dropped or if I can bring them in line with my wrists and hands and the pole. That's the thing. Then I'm going to go out. Now soften your knees and act like you're going to go into a squat. But then come back up and pull your elbows back. Okay? Take a big breath. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Are you ready? I'm going to push out. And I'm going to do a little semi-squat. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. And then I'm going to come back up. So I'm doing a mini squat. Now, what's the big deal with this? The big deal is line up those elbows with the wrists. When you put your hands out like this, oh my goodness, it's going to increase the effort so much through your shoulders. So don't cheat on your form. I shouldn't say that. Nobody out there is a cheater. You just happen to be sluggy, right? So don't be sluggy, all right? Or just take a lot of rests and then you're turned into a super slug. I'm fine with you resting. I'm not fine with you doing poor form, okay? So see, when I'm in this position, looky here, drop your shoulders into your shoulder socket so you're not doing this. See, I don't want you squeezing up here. Drop your shoulders. My wrists, my elbows, and my shoulders are in the same plane. And then when I come back, I don't drop my elbows. Take a breath. Okay, little squat. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. Here we go. Come back up. And the whole time, see, I'm doing this barefooted. My toes are all splayed. I'm going from the balls of my feet to my heels. When I'm down here, I'm kind of pushing into the heels. Then I come up and I go to all 4 corners. Those of you who have shoulder issues and you've been cleared for good, just plain functional motion, this is very functional. See, this is not overhead, but I'll guarantee you this is pushing your buttons. Yes, I know. Take a breath. Take a breath. Look at my elbows. Look at my wrists. Don't lock your knees. Push the butt back. Take a breath. Take a breath. Keep your chin tucked. Here we go. Come right here. Yeah, stay with me just for 2 more. I know you can do it. I know you can. And I know it's pushing you. Take a breath. Keep your chin tucked. Here we go. Take a breath. Keep your chin tucked. Drop your shoulders. And come back. Now drop them down. And turn. And turn. And turn. I know. You didn't think you could make it, but you can. Look at how I'm turning. See where my bar is? See, it's down here. Okay, drop your shoulders. Soften your knees. Keep your feet in the same position, but you're turning. And you're using your bar in your hands as kind of a little catalyst to pull you even a little more because you're pulling it behind you. So as I turn, I pull it. I don't want my elbows bent right now. I want you to rest. So I want them down here. Turn. Keep your tummy tight. Tummy tight. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Keep going. Keep your knees soft. Say rib cage up. I know. I just keep ragging at you, right? Take a breath. Well, that's why you tune in, to get ragged on. Take a breath. Keep turning, turning. Tight tummy, tight tummy, tight tummy, tight tummy, tight tummy. Now I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go all the way down past my toes with my bar. Keep my chin tucked. Now go into your heels. Now I'm going to bring the bar over all the way up so that it's like if I were going to put it on my head, it would be that. Then I'm going to come down. Then I'm going to push up. Okay? So this movement sequence is kind of important because some of you avoid, like everything, putting things up over your head. And rightfully so, especially with weights, because you've had shoulder issues. Give this a try, okay? Here we go. I'm going to push my butt back. Follow the sequence. I'm going down. I'm on my pad. Okay, I'm going to go all the way down here. Now I'm going to rotate. I'm going to soften my elbows. And I'm going to put that bar straight out as if it was coming right out through the top of the head. I'm going to hang out down here. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Bring it down. Now push through the heels and up. Now squeeze your butt. Okay? So I hope Susan's making Barb do this correctly, because I know Barb wants to do everything correctly. Okay, are you ready? Watch the sequence. Number 1, I'm doing this on a very non-compliant surface. Spongy. It could be a pillow. I have these pads. And if any of you want to get one of these from me, talk to me about it. I'm over at school I can be over there anytime, and I will meet you there and give it to you. I can't even remember. Talk to me if you're interested in it. But anyway, here's the sequence. I'm on my pad. I'm going to push my butt back. I'm going to take breaths. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. I'm going down, 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 down. I'm going to put the bar all the way down on the floor, not the pad, on the floor. Then I'm going to soften my elbows, and I'm going to bring the pole up so that it's like coming straight out of the head. Okay, I'm going to hang out down here, then I'm going to bring it down, then I'm going to push on the heels and come up. Okay, that movement pattern is a very important one because it's rotating through the shoulders. Gently, we're using gravity to be our weight load. Okay, so when we do this rotation, and I tell you, act like it's coming up out of the head. See, it's not up here, but it's up here, okay? Like that. So let's do 2 more. And here's the thing. When I go down, I'm going almost into a full squat. Some of you have a problem coming down and you put your head, your chest down lower than your butt. I want you to get your butt down. Okay, now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see, and it might help you. Okay, so I'm shoulder width apart with my feet. I'm on my pillow, so I'm having to use balance. I'm going to rotate into my heels as I do my hip hinge. So as soon as I do my hip hinge, my tummy goes tight. I drop my chin, my shoulders are down. I'm going down so that I can put the bar on the floor. Now get your butt down as low as you can. Now when you rotate your shoulders, you soften your elbows, okay? Soften your elbows and hold it up here for just a little bit. Count to maybe 6. Take a breath. Now drop your butt just a little more. You're in your heels. Now rotate back down and push through the heels and stand up. Now drop your shoulders. Squeeze. Yeah. Okay. Put your little pole right there in front of you. See that? And anytime you need to, for a third point of or 2 points of balance, put your hand on a wall, get your chair so that you can reach out and grab it if you need to, see? Or a wall or anything that's stable. So I'm going to put my little bar right here, all right? So take a big breath. So I'm going to bring my knee up. And when you bring your knee up and you're standing on a very non-compliant surface, and that's why for some of you, this disc might be too wonky. That's why at the beginning of this class, I showed you this thing. I had a whole bunch of these. These are garden pads. This is a really nice one. This is almost as much as the pad that I sell from class, okay? This is from Duluth Trading Company, but you see how narrow it is? It's like, I don't know, ½ inch, but it's more firm. And so you can use that for your feet to give your feet therapy on if you don't want it to be so wonky. So I like both of them. I'm just telling you that this is available and you can kneel on it. It's what it's for, a garden pad. And Chrissy knows all about it because she's a master gardener. Oh, okay, are you ready? So my pole is down in front of me, or I can have my hand on the wall as well. That would be fine, okay? So this is going to be a big movement exercise with lower back, hips. It's going to involve your quads, but here's the thing. People don't think about their shoulders when we're doing this. This is a big deal because some of you push really hard on your pole and your shoulders are up here. Not what you want. Drop your shoulders, tighten your tummy. Drop your shoulders, tighten your tummy, okay? Just keep saying that. So I'm going to shift, okay? I'm going to bring my one knee up, and I can tell you for a very advanced exercise in balance, make sure you have something to hang on to. If you do this free and you don't hang on to anything, it's going to rock and roll you everywhere. I don't highly suggest it for most of us, especially if you have joints replaced, because if you start going a little too much, you're going to go. So you can do what I want you to with your hip, etc., your tummy, your core, your shoulders, just by hanging out here, and by every once in a while, pull your pole up. See, this is how you progress. So see, my pole is here, and I'm not hanging on to it hard. And then if I overbalance too much, go ahead and put your foot down. That's okay. Hang on to the pole. See how I'm hanging out here? Now shift. Okay, soften your knee. Now bring the knee up. So this is my challenge side. So you probably won't see me lifting the pole up a lot on this side. I might if I feel like I've got it. But see, here's the deal. If I over lean, I don't want to do that. I would so much rather you grab a third point. So 1 point of balance, 2, and then the foot that's on the ground. Because see, whenever I was doing this, I was doing it, but I was overbalancing. That doesn't help the weak areas in that hip. So I don't want to overuse this or this, but this helps me stay in line. Then I'm going to put that foot down, okay? Take a breath, drop your shoulders, tight tummy. Say rib cage up, bring the other leg back up. And when you do bring the leg up and you're on this non-compliant surface, make sure your supporting knee is soft. And then if you're overleaning too much, use that third point of contact to keep you lined up. Then put that foot down. Now shift. Okay, so this is my weak area. So I'm going to go ahead and put my one finger on that third point of contact. So here's one contact, here's two contact, and then my supported leg is contact, but my knee is what? Everybody should be screaming. It's soft, it's bent just a little. Yes, take a breath because, and then I'm gonna try to do this, hang on, with just that one point besides my leg. I'm trying not to use this too much. And then for most of you who don't have joints replaced, again, just bringing your pole off the ground just for a split second is a really good thing to do to help your balance. Yeah. And why do you want to keep working on balance? You have to do specific work to hit your balance system, okay? And there's a lot of specific work done like this that you have to plan so that if you do start feeling off balance, you can catch yourself. That's the point, okay? So once you do this kind of a thing back and forth, and let me caution you again, those of you especially with knees or backs or joints replaced, go ahead and use that third contact. Just don't overuse it, okay? So somebody would say, well, how do you know if you're overusing it? Well, if your finger or your pole that you're gripping is turning blue or it's hurting because you're pressing so hard, that means you're overusing, okay? I hope that helps you. Okay, shift. My dogs are upset this morning. I have lots of activity going on around here. So here I come. I'm going to have to use this, and then I'm going to bring it up every so often. Bring it up every so often. Breath. So I'm thinking especially of Chrissy and people that are out there with knees replaced, hips replaced. This work that we're doing, excuse me, is very important work, and it takes a while to do it. Okay? Now I'm going to back off my pillow, right like that. See that? So here's my pole, right? Sorry about that. Oh, the joys of classes on Zoom at home. Looky here. See this? See this? You think, well, that's not very, what's the big deal with that move? You have your hands on a pole, right? I backed off of my pad. I'm going to step back up on the pad. I'm going to step down, and I'm going to do it repeatedly. But when I go like this, see, I want to put this hand so that the back of the hand is at my forehead. Now, some of you have got this, but some of you, when you put your arm up like this, you don't keep it out there. You bring it in here. Okay, right now we want to open this part of you up, if that makes sense. And you see, I'm just going to turn just like this. See that? I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to make sure that I've got my elbow at the same level as my wrist. See that? And the back of the back of the hand is on your forehead. Shh, shh, shh. It's on your forehead. And then I'm going to come back down, and I'm going to put the back of the hand on the forehead, and I'm going to come back down, just like you're saluting. Exactly. Take a breath and come back down. Take a breath and come back down. Take a breath and come back down. And then bring it right here. And now we want to rotate those elbows up, okay? By now, you should be feeling quite a bit of mobility through your shoulders, much better. Now I'm going to drop, and I'm going to put the pole on my head. Then I'm going to rotate, okay? But I'm not going to drop my elbows. See that? I'm going to step back up on my pillow or my disc. Now I'm going to bring this here and bring it on top of my head. I'm going to step off of the pillow. And then I'm going to rotate it again and step back up. And the pole goes from the top of the head back down. So it's going to come right into like my eyes. Okay? So I'm going to rotate it up. So take a big deep breath. And then come back down. So I'm really focusing with the pole on shoulders in this part of the class, okay? A lot of people totally don't understand that the whole shoulder and the thoracic part of your vertebrae is all part and parcel of the back, okay? So a lot of times we just ignore strengthening and working with our shoulder endurance. And those of you who have had delicate shoulders or injuries, you just are afraid to kick up anything, and so you don't do anything. So that's not what you want to do. You want to work them, but you want to work them gently. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this with a pole. I'm watching the way I'm ranging with my elbow relationship to my shoulder, over the head, come back to the right at the eye level, and then come back and take a big deep breath and bring them down. And right there, you should have felt a big, oh, I'm so glad she's taking a rest here, okay? I just want to note, if Kathy's on, I'm not sure she is, this is a rest, okay? This is a rest. Take a big deep breath, big breath, big breath. Rotate, 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 breath, breath, breath. Great. Okay, we're going to put the bar away for right now. I'm going to bring my chair here. We are going to do one of the most important, we're going to review one of the most important moves that you can be doing. You can do it from the chair, or you can do it from the floor. I'll do it from both. And this one of the most important things to do, not only for your hips, but for your back and your core. And we're going to revisit the bridge. So we're going to do several of those today. And if I had one thing, so I'm putting my little band, I got my band. And so you might not have a band. If you don't have a band, you grab a tea towel. That's all you do. Okay? You're going to hold on into the middle. You're going to bring your elbows into your waist. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. And your elbows are at your waist. And I'm pulling the tea towel apart. So I'm pulling out with my little fingers, pulling out. And your elbows are at your waist. And of course, if you have a band, it's even better because you actually can pull it apart. See how I'm doing this? Take a big deep breath. And while I'm holding it here, I'm going to turn one toe out and then bring it back. And then turn the other toe out. And you might say, how far do I turn it? And I'm going to say, you should kind of feel it. I'll feel a little stretches in through your hip area. See, I don't have a real bent leg. It's a little bent. But I want to say rib cage up. And the whole time I'm talking and doing this, you see what I'm doing? My elbows are at my waist. And I'm pulling the backs of my hands out. Now, if I had just a tea towel, see, I can do the same kind of thing. See, I'm pulling out with it. These are really pulling. And I want to do it for about 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah, that much, all right? And at the same time, I'm going to turn my toe out, then bring it back. Take a breath, turn the other toe out. Really pull through your shoulders. Yeah, pull the backs of the hands out. That's what you're trying to do. Pull them out there and release. Now, we're going to come back to that. Why? Because that kind of emotion, by pulling these open, for anybody with delicate shoulders, or if you have a lot of soreness through here, I'm telling you, if you could give me a promise that you would either grab a tea towel or you would grab a band like this and do this for 30 seconds, maybe 3 times in the day. Drop your shoulders, tighten your tummy, put your elbows at your waist, keep your wrist, don't let your wrist bend. You're pulling the backs of the hands out because it makes these pull in such a way that it releases some of the tension in the shoulders. People could get so much shoulder girdle relief by doing that 2 to 3 times a day for 20 to 30 seconds, okay? So once I've done that, now I'm going to get right into our bridging. So I'm going to start at the chair, and then I'm going to go down into the floor, okay? So I'm going to start right here. And for those of you with sore feet, use your little garden pad, or you use your little non-compliant surface, your pillow. You can just put a pillow down there, okay? But like Chrissy said, these are so much better whenever that you're doing this kind of work. So here's the deal. Anybody that has had hip problems, knee problems, or back problems, this little move that I'm going to do next should be part of your repertoire, just like brushing your teeth, okay? Because it's going to give you functionality and strength as well as endurance in the whole antagonistic musculature from the head to the toe. And I'm going to do it here in the chair first because some of you are a little reticent to get down onto the floor, and I understand everybody's situation is different. I'm going to encourage you to use whatever you need to. So once a day, get down on the floor and roll around, okay? If you do nothing else, do that because it will give you mobility like nothing else, okay? It always helps if you roll around and play with your grandkids or your dogs or whatever. If that doesn't work, I'll tell you what will work. Get you some really good dark chocolate covered almonds or maybe peanuts. Throw them in the floor and get down there and pick them up one at a time. You should be laughing by now. You have to laugh once a day, maybe 10 times a day. Anyway, here I am. Are you ready? I'm not going to drop down here. What am I going to do? I'm going to push my hips up. So that means I have to tuck my elbows in. I have to drop my chin. I'm going to be on my heels. And I'm going to lift my hip. And then I'm going to come back down and touch. I'm going to lift my hip. Okay? My elbows are soft. If my shoulders start screaming, take a rest. But I'm telling you, you can do this anywhere, pretty much, anywhere. Just lift the hips. Just hang out here for a second. Don't drop your head back. That will get you a little too dizzy. And then you swing the butt down and see I'm just barely touching. And now my heels are down. My toes are up. Now when I come up, I'm going to squeeze my butt. And then I'm going to come back down. And my elbows need to stay soft. Okay? That's how you do a hip bridge from the chair. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop right on down. Okay? So I have my little pad here. So when I put my knee down, and those of you who are doing this from the chair, I want you to stay with it. You keep going. You keep going. You come up, take a rest, and then come back down, okay? Until you get tired. Somebody say, well, how long? Until I say stop. I'm kidding. Until you get tired. Okay, so see how I'm coming down? See how I'm coming down? Take a breath. Then I'm going to bring my pillow out here. Okay, I'm going to roll to the side. Now here's the deal. You can put your pillow up here, or you can put the little garden pad, because you can put your heels here in just a minute. Some of you may elect not to. That's more of an advanced move. So I'm sitting here, right? I'm fixing to do one of the most important things that I can give you to help your back get back on track, to help your hips get back on track, to help your knees, okay? Because we're using antagonistic muscles here. So I'm going to roll to the side. I'm going to roll myself down. Once I get down into the floor, I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm going to keep my feet on the ground, and I'm going to just start to lift my hips and come up. And I might even put my hands under there to give myself a little push. And then I'm going to hang out there for a bit. See that? I'm going to really hang on. Squeeze my butt tight. Then I'm going to roll and come down just like a string of pearls. So you don't want to drop down like a rock. You want to roll down. So here I am. My heels are down. Drop my shoulders. Tighten my tummy. Start from the tailbone and come up one vertebrae at a time until you're up as high as you can get. And then you're going to rotate and come back down. Now listen, this is going to take a little time. Don't try to take a shortcut, okay? And if you get down and you haphazardly do like 1, 2, or 3, that is not doing this the way it should be done. So right now, I'm tightening in. I'm lifting, lifting, lifting. I'm up here. I'm holding. I'm squeezing tight. I say 1001, 1002, 1003. And then when I start to come down, I do one vertebrae down at a time so that the small of my back comes down first, and then I release. Then I'm going to do it again. Here I go. Tighten in the butt. Lift, 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 lift. Stay way up there. Way up there. Hang out there for a second. Then come down. Now, if some of you want to do an advanced form, all you got to do is lay a bag of beans or a weight across your hips, and you will have a weight. Okay, that's one way. The other way is to do this with one foot balancing you. So I'll show you. I just bring this heel up, and then I just push up with one leg. See, and come back down. And you're going to have much higher weight load now. Take a breath. Now come back down. Take a breath. Here we go. Tight. Come all the way up to the shoulders. Now hang out up there. 1001, 1002, 1003. Come back down to the small of the spine and back down. Take a breath. Here we go. Up, 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 up. One vertebrae at a time. Hold for a count of 3. Come back down. Then after you've done several on one leg, then you're going to do several on the other. Okay? Take a breath. Drop your shoulders. Here we go. Start with the tailbone. Come all the way up. And then come back down. Take a breath, breath, breath. Here we go. Rotate through the spine. Okay? Push. And you should be feeling this on your hamstring. Now, if you have delicate hamstrings, of course, I would tell you, do it with both the heels down there, because you're going to work probably too hard if you do one at a time. I would elect to do both of them, and put a weight on across my iliac crest, across my hip bones. And I would get, and here's the deal, y'all. See, I'm sure Kathy's counting these. However, these take a while. And the hallmark repetitions, of course, is 3 sets of 10. Yes. Take a big deep breath. You do this and you put on like a books on tape or something like that. And you just do this. You have to do this because this is, I'm telling you, you would notice a distinct difference in your strength, your mobility, how your back is feeling. If you would do this one exercise specifically pretty much every day, at least every other day, and do 30 of these dudes. See this? And until you can get to where you can do 30 like this, then you don't really have any business putting your feet up. Okay, see, I'm going to put my feet up here, but the knees need to be at about 90 degrees. See this right here? See, this is going to be much harder. So you don't have any business of going way up into a chair until you've done them on the floor with your heel on the floor and maybe put a weight across your iliac crest. See how I'm rocking here? And then I come back up, I squeeze the butt, I lift one vertebrae at a time, I go all the way up, I hold it, I say 1001, 1002, 1003, and then I rotate and come down, 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 down. So I get to where I can do that, or I get to where I can do it with one leg at a time. At least one set is done one leg at a time, and it's going to make you use your hamstrings very hard. So anybody with a hamstring, delicate hamstring, I would definitely just say, in fact, I wouldn't even lift. And for somebody that is really, I would tighten in my tummy and I would push on my heels, but I wouldn't really lift way up. See, even this is enough to start innervating back here, and you don't even have to lift up. I would just act like I was going to lift. That's how I might do it if I really had delicate, I didn't want to overdo it. But you do want to get to where that you can tighten your butt, lift one vertebrae at a time, come all the way up, hold it up there, count 1001, 1002, 1003, then you come down one vertebrae at a time. So this is definitely a therapy type of a exercise, okay? Now, I'm going to roll to the side with my knees. Then I'm going to roll to the other side with my knees, but I'm going to keep my shoulders on the ground. Yeah, I know, you were just rolling, weren't you? No, you keep your shoulders on the ground, then you pull one knee up at a time, and you go over to the other side. And when you want to come up, you take one knee at a time and you bring it up until you start feeling like you're stretched out in your back. In fact, just hang out here for a little bit. See how I take the other arm and I put it way out here, and I want to keep my shoulder down. Take a breath. Now, when I'm going to come up from this, I'm not going to make my legs lift together. I'm bringing one knee, and then the other knee follows. Then I'm going to go down, keep this shoulder down. Then I'm going to bring one knee and then the other. Okay? And I'm going to do that until I feel more comfortable, not as tight of a back. Then at the end of that, I'm going to stay on one side. And here's where you might want to put your little pillow under your head here. See? Because now I am going to do a side bridge. Okay? So you can put your head under here like this. That's fine. And then you're going to open your legs just like this because I'm going to push on my knees. I'm going to put my hand right here. Okay. I'm going to bring my elbow up. I'm going to push until I get this elbow under me. Okay. So this is called a side bridge, and it goes hand in hand with a back bridge. So this is working on your core, and it's working on your hips, and it's working on your back, working on your shoulder. Keep your shoulder in, keep your tummy tight. Now I'm going to push here and push here, and I'm going to lift my hip. See that? I'm going to hang out here, just like this. I'm going to bring one knee up. So I'm on my foot, my knee, and my elbow. And then I'm coming back down. Okay. You will build up a lot of pressure if you don't keep breathing with this. Okay? So here's my hand. Here's my hand. I'm going to lean into those hands. I'm going to push my hip off the ground. I'm going to be on my knee, my hands, and then I'm going to just try to lift this leg. Some of you maybe can't do that, but you can be on both knees and both hands and then come down. Okay? Take a breath. Take a breath. Okay. This is definitely an exercise in mobility because here's the deal. You're going to find yourself on the ground sometime. Hopefully you didn't fall, but you're going to find yourself on the ground sometime. That's just the way it is. And you're going to need to get up. Okay, how are you going to do that without hurting yourself? This is how you're going to do it. Here's my hand. Here's my hand. I'm going to tighten my tummy, drop my shoulders, push into my hands, and lift my butt off the ground. See that? Tummy is really working hard right now. Okay? Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Put that hip down. Got it? Now I'm going to bring my feet right over here because the whole time you were doing that with me, you were working this way. Your neck muscle is working against gravity. Okay? So, and I know it was getting tired. That's all right. That's part of strength work, right? Getting tired. So now I'm going to put my feet over this side. And what am I going to do? I'm going to put my elbow down, right? So I have my knees either together or separate, whatever feels better for you. It doesn't matter. Tight tummy, yes. Put my hand here. My elbow's already down, but my shoulder is what? What's my shoulder doing? Am I letting my shoulder jump way out here? No. Push that shoulder down. Hand, elbow, tight tummy. Now roll into the hands, lift the butt. So you're right here and you're hanging out here. You're just hanging out here for a bit. And then you come back down. And so you might say, how many do I do of these? Well, if you can do 10, that would be great. Hand, elbow, shoulder in, take a breath, roll, lift. Take a big breath, put it back down. Now, there's all kind of phases of this. If you have replaced hips, if you have replaced knees, if you have a shoulder that's giving you a problem, we're going to stay on the entry level side bridge. Ready? Push. Lift the hip. Hang out here. 1001, 1002, 1003. Roll and come back down. Take a breath. Keep your shoulders down. Roll. Lift that hip. And come back down. So you're going to hold. So if you can hold it, tight tummy, drop your shoulder. Some of you have moved your shoulders up. Drop your shoulder. Lift. Hang out here. Breath. 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 And come back down. I've got one more here. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Take a breath. Push into the hands, into the elbow, lift the hip. 1001, 1002, 1003. Come back down. Now bring those legs forward. Right here, and right here. See that? See that? I'm just moving around the room here. See that? Take a big deep breath. Put your hands right back here. Okay? Now, act like you're going to try to put a sheet under your butt. Okay, just a sheet. So let's say somebody's just trying to get a sheet under your butt. So if I'm sitting here, how am I going to do that? Well, of course, if you were really in like the hospital, they would be rolling you back and forth. But for our workout, I want you to think, could you lift your butt off the ground even enough to put a sheet under there? So I'm going to have my feet here. I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm going to push on my hands. I'm going to push on my feet, and I'm going to lift my butt. And I'm going to hang out here for a second. 1001, 1002, 1003, and bring it back down. Take a breath. Bring your hands up. Come back down with the hands. Drop your shoulders. Here we go. I'm going to push on my heels. I'm going to push on my hands with my shoulders down. I'm going to lift my butt. Take a breath. 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 So the way I would do this with kids, of course, to strengthen, and I did this almost every day in PE, is I would have them do crab walking. So if you have grandkids, have crab races, and then give them a big fun reward at the end or something, okay? Drop your shoulders, on your heels. Sorry about that. And I'm going to lift the hips, okay? Keep my elbows soft. I'm going to hang out here for just, again, maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Then I'm going to come back down. Now, before I go back around, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do 3 to 6 more hip lifts. Take a breath. If you could put them in the cage, I would appreciate it. Take a breath. It is what it is, y'all. Kids and dogs. Okay, are you ready? Before we go back into a hip lift, I'm going to say rib cage up, and I'm going to do what's called a sit back. So I'm going to go back until I feel my stomach really contracting. Then I'm going to pull up. What I am not going to do is round my back. I am not going to do that. I'm going to open at the hip. I'm going to keep my rib cage up, chin tucked. I'm going to go back here until my stomach muscles are just like, ah. Then I'm going to pull and come back. But I'm going to keep my back extended. Take a breath. I'm just going to do 2 or 3 more. Are you ready? Kathy's saying, which is it going to be, 2 or 3? I can hear it. Here we go. Up. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Mac is coming over here to help me. I'm rolling back here. I'm doing a sit back. Your stomach should be screaming right now. And then come back up. Take a breath. 2 more. 2 more. Here we go. Open at the hips. Go back. Right here. Woo! And then come back up. Okay, this is the last one. Try to really hang in there with me. Open at the hips, drop your chin, rib cage up. Okay, hang out right here, and then go reach, come to center, go reach, come to center, breath, reach, come to center, breath, reach, come to center. Put your hands under your legs and pull yourself up. Yes. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to come to my hands and knees. So here I am, hands and knees. I'm going to swing my knee in, and then I'm going to come way up to the ceiling. I'm going to bring that knee in, and go way up to the ceiling. I'm going to bring that knee in and go way up to the ceiling. And I'm going to switch. Soften your elbows. I'm going to swing and come way up and then come back down. Swing and come way up and then come back down. One more time. Swing and come up and then come back down. Now I'm going to push my hips to my heels as best as I can. Bring it right down to the heels as best as you can. If you had a knee replaced like I have, this is very tight, but it's a good thing to do to keep that mobility. So I'm just pushing through my hip as far as I can, and then I'm going to come back up. I might do it 2 or 3 times. See, I'm going to put my elbows down, push my hips down, and then come back, and then come up, okay? Now, let's say I'm down on the floor. I have nobody around. I have nothing to hang on to. What am I going to do to get myself up? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be on my hands and knees. I'm going to tighten my tummy. My feet are going to go wide. My toes are going to go under. Then I'm going to push my knees off the ground. And I'm going to push and roll into my feet. I'm going to acclimate right here. I'm going to hang out right here. Take a big deep breath. Big deep breath. Then I'm going to push and I'm going to come up. Okay? I'm going to take a big breath. I'm going to go back into my little W. I'm going to go rotate into my T. And here's the thing. When you do this move right here, bring your hands back, then you come out and you rotate, you should feel much better mobility through your shoulders as you're doing this. And then you drop your chin and you think about that pole that we had touching our head, our shoulders, between our shoulders, and then between the butt. Okay? And go back into your W. And then step, palms down, step back, and step again. And line yourself up, even without the pole. Line yourself up. And if you forget, or if you have a very forward head or a very sway back, get that pole in place. Give your body its best chance to not have a lot of pain. And that is using good posture. Got it? So we did some very important shoulder work today, and we did the hip bridge and the side bridge. Good. I hope everybody got all the